Multilateral relations. Work hand in hand for common development. March 27th, 2013. A keynote speech at the 5th BRICS Leaders Meeting, Durban, South Africa. Your Excellency President Jacob Zuma, Your Excellency President Dilma Rousseff, Your Excellency President Vladimir Putin, Your Excellency Prime Minister Manmohan Singh. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to come back to South Africa, the Rainbow Nation, after my last visit more than 2 years ago. I am deeply impressed by the warm hospitality of the South African people and their strong support for BRICS cooperation. I wish to extend my heartfelt thanks to you, President Zuma, and the South African government for the thoughtful arrangements you have made for the meeting. As an old Chinese saying goes, nothing, not even mountains and seas, can separate people with common goals and ideals. Footnote 1. Ge Hong, the master who embraces simplicity. Bao Puzi. Ge Hong, circa 281 to 341, also known as Bao Puzi, was a minor official during the Eastern Jin dynasty, 317 to 420. He was best known for his interest in Taoism, alchemy, and techniques of longevity. Composed of 2 volumes, the inner chapter and the outer chapter, the master who embraces simplicity recounts the author's pursuit of life through maintaining health with Taoism and governing the country with Confucianism. End of footnote 1. The 5 countries from 4 continents are gathering here for the great goal of fostering partnership for common development and the noble cause of promoting democracy in international relations, and advancing the peace and development of mankind. To pursue peace, development, and mutually beneficial cooperation is our common aspiration and responsibility. We should firmly uphold international fairness and justice, and world peace and stability. The world today is not peaceful, continually facing new global threats and challenges. The BRICS countries love and cherish peace, and we share the aspiration of lasting peace in the world, a peaceful and stable social environment for all countries, and a decent life for all peoples. No matter how international situations may unfold, we should stay committed to pursuing peaceful development and mutually beneficial cooperation. What we need is peace and cooperation, not war and confrontation. While pursuing our own interests, we should also accommodate the legitimate concerns of other countries. No matter how the international setup may evolve, we should stay committed to the principles of equality, democracy, and inclusiveness. We should respect the rights of all countries to independently choose their social systems and development paths and the diversity of civilizations. Countries, irrespective of their size, strength, and level of development, are all equal members of the international community. The internal affairs of a country should be handled by its own people, and international affairs should be managed by all countries through consultation. No matter how the reform of the global governance system may proceed, we should take an active and constructive part in the process of making the international order truly just and equitable, and thus provide institutional safeguards for world peace and stability. We should vigorously promote a global development partnership and work for the common prosperity of all countries. A single tree does not make a forest. In this era of continuing economic globalization, we BRICS countries should not just seek our own development, but also work for the common development of all countries. We should run our own affairs well by expanding our economy and improving the people's lives, and create new sources of growth for the world economy. We should encourage all countries to strengthen coordination of macroeconomic policies, reform the international monetary and financial systems, promote, liberalize, and facilitate trade and investment, and bolster the momentum of global economic growth. We should work together on setting the international development agenda, make full use of the productivity and material resources accumulated by mankind, achieve the UN Millennium Development Goals, narrow the North-South gap in development, and make global development more balanced. The theme of today's meeting, Partnership for Development, Integration, and Industrialization, is not only the development goal of the BRICS countries, but also an important area of cooperation between the BRICS countries and the African countries. We should forge a strong bond among the BRICS countries through building this partnership, advance our cooperation in economy and trade, finance, infrastructure, personnel interflow, and other fields, and move towards the goal of integrated markets, multi-tiered financial network, land, air, and sea links, and greater cultural exchanges. We should jointly support Africa's pursuit of stronger growth, accelerated integration, and industrialization, and help Africa become a new growth pole in the world economy. We should reinforce mutually beneficial cooperation and outcomes. We still have a long way to go before we can deliver a decent life to the 3 billion people of our countries and fully meet their aspirations for a better life. To accomplish this task, we should rely first and foremost on our own efforts. But we also need closer cooperation among the BRICS countries. We should continue to enhance political trust among our 5 countries and friendship among our peoples. Do more to share experiences in governance and jointly promote industrialization, IT application, urbanization, and agricultural modernization. We should follow the law governing development, foster new ideas, and meet difficulties head-on in pursuing development. We should continue to step up coordination and cooperation under the frameworks of the United Nations, the G20, and international economic and financial institutions to uphold our common interests. We should translate our political consensus into concrete actions, actively pursue such initiatives as a BRICS Development Bank and contingent reserve arrangement, accelerate practical cooperation in all fields, consolidate the economic and social foundation of cooperation, and present a positive image of the BRICS countries, pursuing both domestic development and international cooperation. It is only 5 years since the BRICS mechanism was launched, and it is still at its initial stage of development. We should run our own affairs well, strengthen the cooperative partnership among BRICS countries, and improve institutional buildings for BRICS cooperation. Our cause will surely thrive as long as we keep firm confidence in our own development paths and in cooperation among the BRICS countries. Do not flinch from facing risks and are not misled by any distraction. Dear colleagues, I know you all have a keen interest in China's future development. Looking ahead, China will work towards 2 goals. First, we will double China's 2010 GDP and per capita income of urban and rural residents by 2020 and bring about a moderately prosperous society in all respects that benefits our population of more than 1 billion. Second, we will build China into a modern socialist country that is prosperous, strong, democratic, culturally advanced, and harmonious by 2049, when we mark the centenary of the founding of the People's Republic of China. To achieve these 2 goals, we will continue to make development our top priority and economic growth our central task, and promote economic and social development. We will put the people's interests first, strive for all-round progress in the economic, political, cultural, social, and ecological fields, coordinate all aspects of our modernization drive, and make China a beautiful country. Our development endeavor is an open one, as we will remain committed to the basic state policy of opening to the outside world and the mutually beneficial strategy of opening up and further liberalize our economy. Our development endeavor is a cooperative one, as we will work for common development, carry out economic and technological cooperation with all other countries on the basis of equality, mutual benefit, and promote our own development and the common development of all countries through cooperation. To achieve these 2 goals, we need a sound external environment. China will continue to pursue an independent foreign policy of peace and align the interests of the Chinese people with those of the peoples of all other countries. We will work with other countries to strengthen macroeconomic policy, coordination, oppose protectionism, improve global economic governance, and boost global growth. Dear colleagues, enhancing cooperation with other BRICS countries has always been a diplomatic priority for China. Our country will continue to strengthen cooperation with the other BRICS countries, improve the structure, and make it more productive. The result will be more robust growth for all concerned. This will deliver real gains to people of all countries and make a greater contribution to world peace and development. Thank you. A better future for Asia and the world. April 7th, 2013. A keynote speech at the Boao Forum for Asia Annual Conference 2013. Your Excellencies, heads of state and government, speakers of parliament, heads of international organizations, ministers, members of the board of directors of the Boao Forum for Asia, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends. In this balmy season of clear skies and warm coconut-scented breezes, I am so glad to meet all of you at the Boao Forum for Asia Annual Conference 2013 here in Hainan, a picturesque island embraced by the vast ocean. Let me begin by extending, on behalf of the Chinese government and people, and also in my own name, a heartfelt welcome to you and warm congratulations on the opening of the annual conference of the Boao Forum. In the 12 years since its birth, the Boao Forum for Asia has become an important forum with growing global influence. In Chinese culture, 12 years form a zodiac cycle. Footnote 1. Sheng Xiao, the Chinese zodiac, a 12-year cycle. Each year is related to an animal: rat, ox, tiger, rabbit, dragon, snake, horse, ram, monkey, rooster, dog, and pig. End of footnote 1. In this sense, the Boao Forum has reached a new starting point, and I hope it will scale even greater heights. The theme of the current annual conference, Asia Seeking Development for All, Restructuring Responsibility and Cooperation, is a highly relevant one. I hope you will engage in in-depth discussions on promoting development in Asia and beyond, thus contributing with your vision and commitment to peace, stability, and prosperity in Asia and the world at large. The world today is going through profound and complex changes. Countries have become increasingly interconnected and interdependent. Several billion people in a large number of developing countries are embracing modernization. The trend of the times, peace, development, cooperation, and mutual benefit, is gaining momentum. On the other hand, our world is far from peaceful. Development remains a major challenge. The global economy has entered a period of profound readjustment, and recovery remains elusive. The international financial sector is fraught with risks. Protectionism, in various forms, is on the rise. Countries still face many difficulties in adjusting their economic structure, and the global governance mechanisms call for improvement. It remains an uphill battle for all countries to achieve common development. Asia is one of the most dynamic and most promising regions in the world, and its development is closely connected with that of other continents. Asian countries have energetically explored development paths suited to their national conditions and greatly boosted global development through their own. Working side by side with the rest of the world in a time of difficulty to tackle the international financial crisis, Asia has emerged as a major engine driving world economic recovery and growth. In recent years, Asia has contributed more than 50% of global growth, instilling much-needed confidence into the rest of the world. What is more, Asia's cooperation with other groupings at regional and sub-regional levels has great vitality and promising prospects. But we should also be keenly aware that Asia still faces many difficulties and challenges in boosting both its own development and joint development with other regions. The road ahead is neither smooth nor straight. Asia needs to transform and upgrade its development model in keeping with the trend of the times. Sustainable development is still of paramount importance to Asia, because this holds the key to solving major problems and difficulties. It is important that we should shift the growth model, adjust the economic structure, make development more cost-effective, and improve the quality of life. We should make concerted efforts to resolve major difficulties and ensure stability in Asia, which now faces new challenges as new flashpoints keep emerging, and both traditional and non-traditional security threats exist. Asian countries should increase mutual trust and work together to ensure durable peace and stability in our region. We need to build on past success and promote cooperation in Asia. There are many mechanisms and initiatives for enhancing cooperation in Asia, and a lot of ideas are being explored by various parties. What we need to do is to enhance mutual understanding, build consensus, and enrich cooperation so as to strike a balance among the interests of the various stakeholders and build mechanisms that bring benefits to us all. Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, mankind has only one earth, and it is home to all countries. Common development, the very foundation of sustainable development, meets the long-term and fundamental interests of all the people in the world. As members of the same global village, we should foster a sense of community, of shared destiny. Follow the trend of the times. Keep to the right direction. Stick together in times of difficulty, and ensure that development in Asia and the rest of the world reaches new heights. First, we should boldly break new ground and create an irresistible impetus for common development. Over the years, many countries and regions have developed good practices in maintaining stability and promoting growth. We should continue such practices. However, nothing in the world remains constant and, as a Chinese saying goes, a wise man changes his way as circumstances change. A knowledgeable person alters his means as times evolve. Footnote 2. See Note 1, page 175. End of footnote 2. We should abandon our outdated mindsets, break away from the old confines that fetter development, and unleash all potentials for development. We should redouble our efforts to shift the growth model and adjust the economic structure, raise the quality of development, and improve the quality of life. We should steadily reform the international economic and financial systems, improve global governance mechanisms, and ensure sound and stable global economic growth. Asia, with its long-standing capacity for adjusting to change, should ride on the waves of the times and make changes in Asia and global development reinforce and benefit each other. Second, we should work together to uphold peace so as to provide a secure environment for common development. Peace is the everlasting wish of our people. Peace, like air and sunshine, is hardly noticed when people enjoy it, but none of us can live without it. Without peace, development is out of the question. Countries, big or small, strong or weak, rich or poor, should all contribute their share to maintaining and enhancing peace. Rather than undermining each other's efforts, we should complement each other and work for joint progress. The international community should champion the vision of comprehensive, common, and cooperative security so as to turn our global village into one big platform for common development rather than an arena where gladiators fight each other. No one should be allowed to cause chaos in any region or even the whole world for selfish gains. With growing interaction among countries, problems are inevitable. What is important is that countries should resolve differences through dialogue, consultation, and peaceful negotiation in the broader interest of a sound growth of their relations. Third, we should boost cooperation as an effective vehicle for enhancing common development. As we often say in China, a single flower does not make spring, while 100 flowers in full blossom bring spring to the garden. All countries are closely linked and share converging interests. They should both pool and share their strength. While pursuing its own interests, a country should respect the legitimate concerns of others. In pursuing its own development, a country should promote the common development of all. We should enhance South-South cooperation and North-South dialogue, promote balanced development of the developing and developed countries, and consolidate the foundation for sustaining stable growth of the global economy. We need to work harder to create and upgrade cooperation, deliver more development dividends to our people, and contribute more to global growth. Fourth, we should remain open and inclusive to broaden the scope for enhancing common development. The ocean is vast because it is fed by hundreds of rivers. We should respect the right of a country to independently choose its social system and development path, ease distrust and misgivings, and turn the diversity of our world and differences among countries into dynamism and momentum. We should keep an open mind, draw upon development practices of other continents, share development resources, and promote regional cooperation. During the first decade and more of the new century, trade within Asia has increased from $800 billion worth to $3 trillion worth, and Asia's trade with other regions has grown from $1.5 trillion worth to $4.8 trillion worth. This demonstrates that cooperation in Asia is open and goes hand in hand with Asia's cooperation with other regions, and that everyone has gained from such cooperation. Asia should welcome non-Asian countries to play a constructive role in ensuring stability and development of the region. Likewise, non-Asian countries should respect Asia's diversity and its long-standing tradition of cooperation. This will create a dynamic environment in which Asia and other regions enjoy mutually reinforcing progress. Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, China is an important member of the Asian family and the global family. China cannot develop itself in isolation from the rest of Asia and the world. On their part, the rest of Asia and the world cannot enjoy prosperity and stability without China. Last November, the CPC held its 18th National Congress, which designed the blueprint for China's development in the years to come. The main goals are set for China as follows. By 2020, China's GDP and per capita income for rural and urban residents will double the 2010 figures, and the building of a moderately prosperous society in all respects will be accomplished. By the mid-21st century, China will be turned into a modern, prosperous, strong, democratic, culturally advanced, and harmonious socialist country. And the Chinese dream, the renewal of the Chinese nation, will be realized. Looking ahead, we are full of confidence in China's future. Still, we are aware that China remains the world's largest developing country, and it faces many difficulties and challenges. We need to make relentless efforts in the years ahead to deliver a better life to all our people. We are absolutely committed to reform and opening up. And we will concentrate on the major task of shifting the growth model, focusing on running our own affairs well, and endeavor to advance the drive towards socialist modernization. As a Chinese proverb goes, neighbors wish each other well, just as loved ones do to each other. China will continue to promote friendship and partnership with its neighbors, strengthen friendly ties, intensify mutually beneficial cooperation, and ensure that its development will bring even greater gains to its neighbors. China will contribute more to development and prosperity in both Asia and the world. Since the beginning of the new century, China's trade with its neighbors has grown from US $100 billion worth to US $1.3 trillion worth, making China the largest trading partner, the biggest export market, and a major source of investment for many of these countries. China's interests have never been so closely connected with those of the rest of Asia and the world as a whole in both scope and depth. Going forward, China will maintain its robust growth momentum. Its domestic demand, particularly consumption-driven demand, will continue to grow, and its outbound investment will increase substantially. It is projected that in the next 5 years, China's imports will reach some 10 trillion US dollars worth, and its outbound investment will reach 500 billion US dollars worth. In addition, over 400 million outbound trips will be made by Chinese tourists. The faster China grows, the more development opportunities it will create for the rest of Asia and the world. We are firm in our resolve to uphold peace and stability in Asia and the world. We Chinese deeply cherish peace, as we know too well the agonies inflicted upon us by war and turbulence. China will continue to develop by securing a peaceful international environment, and at the same time, it will uphold and promote world peace through its own development. China will continue to properly handle differences and disputes with relevant countries on the basis of defending its sovereignty, security, and territorial integrity. China will maintain good relations with its neighbors and overall peace and stability in our region. China will continue to play a constructive role in addressing regional and global flashpoints, encourage dialogue and talks for peace, and work hard to solve all issues properly through dialogue and negotiation. China will energetically promote regional cooperation in Asia and around the world. It will enhance communication with its neighbors, explore the building of a regional financing platform, and advance economic integration within the region, thus increasing its competitiveness. China will take an active part in Asia's regional cooperation process and promote regional and sub-regional cooperation with non-Asian regions and countries. China will continue to champion and promote trade and investment liberalization and facilitation, step up two-way investment with other countries, and boost cooperation in new priority areas. China firmly supports Asia's opening up and cooperation with other regions for their common development. China is committed to narrowing the North-South gap and supports other developing countries in their efforts to enhance their capacity for self-development. Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, promoting good neighborliness is a time-honored tradition of China. To enhance peaceful development and mutually beneficial cooperation in Asia and the world is a race that has one starting point after another and knows no finishing line. We in China are ready to join hands with friends from across the world in a concerted effort to create a bright future for both Asia and the world, and to deliver real gains to both the peoples of Asia and those of the rest of the world. Finally, I wish the Boao Forum for Asia Annual Conference 2013 every success. Justly maintain and develop an open world economy. September 5th, 2013. Speech on the World Economic Situation at the first stage meeting of the G20 Leaders Summit. Your Excellency, President Putin, dear colleagues, it is a great pleasure to meet you here in beautiful St. Petersburg and to discuss together measures to promote world economic growth and employment. First, I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to President Putin and the Russian government for your proactive efforts and considerate arrangements in making this summit possible. At present, the world economy is gradually recovering, and the situation continues to develop in a good direction. At the same time, the negative impact of the international financial crisis lingers on, and there is still a long way to go for global economic recovery. The situation decides our tasks, and our actions determine their effectiveness. We should take a long-term view, strive to shape a world economy in which all countries enjoy development and innovation, growth linkage and integration of interests, and firmly maintain and develop an open world economy. Innovative development is necessary for the sustainable growth of the world economy. Growth driven by stimulating policies and large-scale and direct government intervention in the economy can only treat the symptoms but not the disease, while growth at the cost of high energy consumption and environmental pollution is even less sustainable. Countries should improve the quality and efficiency of economic growth and avoid simply measuring development by the GDP growth rate. They should invigorate markets and enhance economic competitiveness through active structural reforms. Interactive growth is necessary for the sturdy growth of the world economy. A vibrant world economy depends on the joint growth of all countries, which should be aware of the commonality of their destinies and gain a really clear understanding of the linkage effect. That is, benefit to one means benefit to all, whereas harm to one means harm to all. We should cooperate while competing and achieve mutually beneficial results through cooperation. We should take into consideration the interests of other countries when pursuing our own national interests, and take into consideration the development of other countries when seeking our own development. Mutual help between different countries in solving salient problems is the objective requirement of world economic development. Every country should be able to create a linkage between its own development and that of other countries, and to bring each other positive instead of negative spillover effects. Convergence of interests is necessary for the balanced growth of the world economy. Balanced growth is not a zero-sum game that transfers growth from one country to another, but a growth entailing shared welfare. Countries should give full play to their comparative advantages, work together to optimize global resource allocation, improve the layout of global industry, build a global value chain that shares interests equally, and foster a big global market that benefits all parties, so as to achieve mutually beneficial development. To shape a world economy of this kind, all G20 members need to build a closer economic partnership and to shoulder their due responsibilities. First, they need to adopt responsible macroeconomic policies. The major economies should take care of their own matters and ensure that their own economies are sound. This is our basic responsibility. We should improve the macroeconomic policy coordination mechanism and strengthen communication and coordination. Macro and microeconomic policies and social policies must be integrated. All countries should support economic policies with social ones, and create favorable conditions for the implementation of macro and micro economic policies. The decision of the G20 finance ministers and central bank governors meeting and G20 labor and employment ministers meeting to strengthen coordination between economic and employment policies is correct, and we should stick to it firmly. In this regard, China adopts its economic policies not only for the good of its own economy, but for the good of the world economy as well. China's economic fundamentals are good. In the first half of this year, its GDP grew by 7.6%. Nonetheless, China also faces such problems as high local government debt and excessive production capacity in some industries. These problems are controllable, and we are taking measures to address them. We have realized that to solve the root problems in our long-term economic development, we must firmly streamline our economic structure, even if we have to slow down the growth rate a bit. Any undertaking needs comprehensive and far-sighted thinking. A development model resembling killing a goose to get its golden eggs or draining the pond to catch the fish cannot be sustainable. China's economy is highly integrated with the world economy. A China that enjoys more stable, higher quality, and more sustainable growth is conducive to the long-term economic growth of the world as a whole. China has the conditions and ability to achieve sustainable and healthy economic development and produce more positive spillover effects for the world economy. Second, we must safeguard and develop an open world economy. A single flower does not make spring, while 100 flowers in full blossom bring spring to the garden. Countries will grow if their economies are open, and conversely decline if their economies are closed. We must follow the tide of the times, oppose all forms of protectionism, and make good use of international and domestic markets and resources. We should maintain a free, open, and non-discriminatory multilateral trading system. We should avoid making exclusive trade standards, rules, and systems so as to prevent the segregation of the global market and the disintegration of trade systems. We should improve the global investment rules, guide the rational flow of global development capital, and use development resources more effectively. Third, we must improve global economic governance and make it fairer and more just. The G20 is an important platform for developed and developing countries to engage in consultations on international economic affairs. We should build the G20 into an important force for stabilizing the world economy, weave an international financial safety net, and improve global economic governance. We should continue the reform of international financial institutions. The relevant countries should further push forward the implementation of the plan for reforming the management of the International Monetary Fund and for making a new sharing formula that reflects the weight of the economic aggregate of the different countries in the world economy, and continue to strengthen oversight concerning the international financial market, so that the financial system will depend on, serve, and promote the development of the real economy in a sound way. The relevant countries should build a stable and risk-resistant international monetary system, reform the basket of currencies for special drawing rights, strengthen the connections between international and regional financial cooperation mechanisms, and build a firewall against financial risks. China supports the strengthening of multilateral cooperation against tax evasion and is keen to contribute its share towards international tax governance. I would like to stress that, in order to promote the sustainable and healthy development of its economy and society, China will resolutely carry its reform forward. We are conducting overall research into comprehensively continuing the reform to a deeper level, so as to streamline the structures in the economic, political, cultural, social, and ecological sectors through overall planning, further release and develop social productivity, and give full play to the creativity of the whole of our society. China will build a stronger market system, streamline the structures in the fields of macroeconomic regulation and control, taxation, finance, investment, administration, and other fields, and give full play to the basic role of the market in resource allocation. China will further the reform of the marketization of interest and exchange rates to increase the flexibility of the renminbi exchange rate and gradually make the renminbi capital account convertible. China will adhere to the opening up strategy of mutual benefit, continue to streamline the structures of investment and trade, improve relevant laws and regulations, create a legal environment of fair operations for foreign companies in China, and resolve trade disputes with relevant countries through consultations. Dear colleagues, as long as we work together and build a closer partnership, the G20 will enjoy more stable, better, and further development, and the people of all countries will have more confidence in the world economy and in our future life. Thank you.